So, Carol, are you, observing Lent? We started Lent. Are you observing Lent?
Yeah, I am trying. I must say that I'm not really fasting.
Yeah.
But I've been doing a few things like being kind, trying to be a good person. Of course, I've always been a good person.
Yeah.
I'm not a bad
Trying to be a
person,
better
but
person.
I'm trying to be a better person. And I'm trying to, not that I'm trying, but I've been praying a lot lately.
Okay.
So I wake up at 4:30 and I pray at 5 a.m.
Oh, well, Lent is a lot more than, starving yourself or getting off, your favorite food and things like that. And Father Mondo is here to just sort of explain Lent in a bit of depth. Here's part 2 of Father Mondo's series on Lent. You're watching NTV GXP. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. I hope what we shared together last time is still fresh in your minds. Last time we ended with a party which was introducing us towards Ash Wednesday, and those ashes, you have seen them or you have received them, or this helps us to set our balls rolling for this important season of the 40 days of intensive prayer. Not to appease God, but to renew ourselves. So today, we are going to review briefly the intentions. What are the intentions of Lent? Why is this Lent emphasized? Why are there even changes of dynamics of prayer when it comes to a good number of Christian churches? Now, Lent helps us to go again into the culture of prayer. Normally, in our own time, whether we have mobile phones or not, would like to converse with the people we love. Do you know that the element in our life we should love most should be God? So prayer is a conversation with God. And Lent helps us to deepen that relationship of conversation with God. You know, sometimes we need to load our phones with airtime so as to discuss something with somebody that is dear to us. But imagine prayer, what you need is to make sure that you descend from your own standing position to your knees, and between the floor and your knees, you get a good audience with God who welcomes you and listens to you. So in this season of 40 days, if you were praying for 5 minutes, why don't you make it 10? If you were praying, standing a distance from a place of praise and worship, why don't you start accessing the churches? If you are praying alone in the family, you have to start praying together with your family members. So in the 40 days, we return to what we call the little good culture of prayer. Prayer before you eat your food, prayer of thanking after you have eaten your food, prayer before you travel, prayer when you have reached your destination, prayer when you are meeting your friend. The brothers and sisters in other churches, like the mosque, they call it salat, and it is an Arabic word. So this salat is even what we have in our local languages, Sara, and that is very important for us. You know what? Some of us may never feel an excitement about prayer because we watch prayer only. But Lent tells you, come and enter into prayer, and then you will see the values you always walked over without realizing the importance of them. The second intention of the season of Lent is to help us to fast. When you check ourselves, how are we health-wise? Even some of our brothers and sisters who may be on medication or not, when we check ourselves, how many of us are in the volume and in the size we like? But imagine God in His own wisdom has given us also times in a year where we need to eat less, to drink a lot of water, and to make sure that we become managers of our own appetite. So Lent helps us to manage our appetite. By the way, you need to ask yourself as we proceed in this season of Lent, when was the last time we felt hungry? You know, there are some of us, they eat even when they are not hungry. So no wonder that a bit of explanation is coming from our medical doctors, and they are telling us, you are not going to eat this, you are not going to drink that, because we have gone to the excess. This is a holy season which helps us to fast. And in the fasting, we are asked by the Holy Bibles and the Holy Books that we have to fast from things which we think are delicacies to us. Things like meat. My friend, you know what? In these 40 days, you can even take a drastic decision to say you are not going to touch meat. I can assure you, living on vegetables, on beans and potatoes, after the 40 days, when you present yourself to your friends or to your doctor, they will say, wow, you have changed, you look nice. And if they ask you, what is happening? You tell them, like Moses, I was encountering God. Meat, I put it aside. I didn't want to eat fatty things. I have left the cakes aside. I was fasting. So fasting, we try to do that. Fasting of food, because there are some of us who want to substitute. We say, food I will eat, then I will close my eyes when I see a billboard that is attractive. Do that, but make sure you also fast from food. We need to feel the pinch. Unless somebody is under medication, like diabetes, where they tell us that to eat is next to having life, then there you have to eat. But fasting has to come and enter into our culture. We need to reduce our own sizes of the food we put on our plates. We need to check the ratios and also what type of menu we want to eat. We are sometimes eating too much, and that is dangerous for not only our health but also our own spirituality. The other intention of Lent is prayer. Last time when we talked about Ash Wednesday, an introduction to this series, I told you about how prayer is done. You don't need to spend any amount of money to meet God. You need only to descend on your knees. The solution of your problems is between the knees and the floor. You just go there. You started telling God whatever you want. You know, other people can switch you off, can shut you off, but God will never tell you that I don't want to listen to you. So this moment of Lent is a golden chance for you to say, let me start praying. But some of you will say, I don't know how to pray. You will never know how to pray unless you start praying. You run prayer by praying. You start telling God, far, 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 whatever you want to say, whatever you want to imagine. Slowly by slowly, you will know that far, far, it stands in for a Father in heaven. You will find yourself entering into horizontals of praying with the Mother Mary, praying with the saints, and other devotional books will assist us to pray. More so, we need to pray on our bedside before we sleep. We need to pray as we travel. We need to pray as we begin work. Prayer can bring another rhythm of life in our own offices, in our own cities, and in our own families. Imagine even when a friend calls you, you invite the friend to prayer. This is somewhere where we have to take people, and we shall find out that our relationship is becoming strong and is very well dynamized. Then the third important thing we must do in Lent, I say even we must, do not be taken by that word that is a bit too strong. Sometimes when somebody is fearing water, you may push a bit the person in a swimming pool so that after he gets or she gets used, she can wash it, and then he will say, the water was nice. The other aspect is of almsgiving. We have people who are in need. Many of us think that we are poor, but try one day to pack your things, to move from your own little room to go somewhere else, and you find how many things you have accumulated in your house. So many things. We have so many pair of shoes. We have so many shirts. We have so many skirts and trousers. Some even do not fit us anymore, but we just accumulate them. This is the time to liberate ourselves, time of Lent. You have to empty your cupboards. You have to empty under your bed all those shoes which are there. Sometimes dust and lizards have taken habitation there. Lent tells you, friend, try to liberate yourself from these things. Give them away. Not because you don't want them, but because somebody wants them more than you need them. Never go around with so many things, and when you see other things, you only repeat them with an idea of mind. Time is now. time is these 40 days to make sure that what we have, we can share with others. Now, in this almsgiving, there is a kind of a catchword that we need all to reflect upon. Do not give because you have in excess, but give because your heart also wants. By the way, in this also helping the needy, I will invite you to go around and see the drastic needs of the people that are hidden within our own environments. Do you know that especially here in the city of Kampala, we have babies' homes? There are children who were abandoned. They were picked by good Samaritans. They are like in Sanyo baby's home. At Namirembe, there's another baby's home. There are also some individuals taking care of children of this nature. Take your clothing there. Dress these children. Feed these children. Pray with these children. Take a chance even to bathe these children and feel good about this act of giving that you have done. You can even prepare yourself that at the end of Easter, you take a cake, you take something good for these children so that they know that in sharing, we are also living in a community that is one and a community that is together. It is the hands that give, that they are the same hands which can receive. So as we go into Lent, let us not wander into so many things. We need to enter into a little communion of prayer, to not to pray alone, but also to pray with others, to be attentive in places of prayer. Some of us, when we go to places of prayer, we even distract others. The way we walk, the way we sit, the way we want to listen to our own gadgets, whether they are audible or they are silent. Let us not distract people while praying, and let us not distract ourselves. Let us also take fasting as our plan of action. Have the courage to say, no, today I will not eat this type of food. Not because I don't want it, but because I have a reason and a motive for not touching this type of food. And let us also enter into the little culture of praying. More so the younger people. I invite you. You have time together. You Twitter, you email, you do so many good things. But inside those things, add also a bit of a game called prayer. When you pray together, when you fast together, when you assist others together, you will be darlings of God and darlings of society. And now, from here, we shall also prepare ourselves to go into another section to see the devotions towards Lent, other devotions that are necessary. These are what we are supposed to make sure that we fulfill. But what are the other devotions that are very fundamental and necessary to help us go through Lent? You have to be aware that all of these are accompanied by readings of every Sunday. They are accompanied also by Stations of the Cross every Friday. Live these 40 days intensively. Then you will have a history to tell to humanity. My friend, I hope you are together with me. Don't miss next time when I'm going to meet you, because I want to take you into a deepness of your own spirituality, so that when Easter is coming, you are not only armed, you are also charged with the Spirit of the Lord, so that you can know that you started Lent, you lived it well, you are now celebrating it, and you have a legacy to give to others. Now I again greet you, telling you, have a nice day and practice what I have told you today.